up, everybody? How we doing today? Pete Peterson here with my man, the famous
Johnny Mortgage.
Mr. Johnny Mortgage. How you doing today, sir?
I'm doing great, Pete. How are you?
Good, excellent. Thanks for coming on. Johnny Mortgage, or Johnny Majorek.
Perfect.
Johnny Majorek is with Homebuyer Connect, folks. He is a certified housing specialist, market manager, and can help you with all of your mortgage needs. And we have him in-house today. Adam is here, Brian Running, and Brian Running actually introduced me to Mr. Johnny Mortgage. So thank you for that, Brian. Brian has done some deals with him here in the past. So he wanted to bring himself, and Elysa is here as well. She's going to jump on camera and, I don't know, just say hi and smile and everything, because she loves being on the camera, I heard.
Yeah. She makes me look good. She and my entire team really make me look good, and
Yes.
I can get into that in a little bit.
Sure,
but,
no, take it and run with it here,
yeah,
Johnny.
Well, thanks for having me, Pete.
Yeah.
And Brian, thank you for the trust that you and your clients have placed with me. I know a lot of times folks, they may be talking to many lenders and they don't know why should they choose A versus B versus C. And
Right, that was my first question. Why should we use you?
well,
Let's get right to the nitty gritty, huh?
well, and that's a fair question
Sure.
to ask, because I don't want to say lenders are a dime a dozen, but to a certain extent, local lenders, brokers are. What's the biggest thing that drives a realtor nuts? It's probably communication and lack thereof, not knowing what's going on with the transaction, making sure that their clients are not getting the service they deserve or the options they deserve. One of the things that I pride myself in for 25 years of lending is promising two things up front. I'm brutally candid, and I mean that in a positive way. And secondly, I'm going to exercise best efforts based on the 25 years in lending. If I don't know an answer, I know where to find the answer. As a certified military housing specialist, I'm an authorized agent for the VA, which means if I have a question or on a process, I can actually go directly to the guarantee service up in Cleveland, for instance.
Okay. So yeah, I saw that's right here on your card, certified military housing specialist. But you do all types of packages, not just VA.
Exactly. We used to do the fix and flips, which a lot of investors like, but because of COVID, we've had a moratorium on them. We got a cool $1 million Freddie Mac, $1 to $6 million multifamily program, and those rates are actually in the mid-4s.
Oh.
We have obviously rural housing, the veterans, FHA. We just got set up with OFA. We have our own down payment assistance programs, conventional. And we do some things that most mortgage lenders won't do, and most brokers won't do. In other words, whatever the agency guidelines are, we follow the guidelines, period. Most lenders, like you saw in COVID, they maybe raised their minimum credit score to 720, or you had to have X amount of extra months of reserves, or they put additional restrictions from a risk standpoint. We just followed the guidelines exactly. If HUD said I had to, the borrower and I had to stand on our heads, clap our hands 3 times, and sing zippity doo dah, it would not look good or sound good.
Elysa, you're up.
This I gotta see. That I gotta see. But actually, I'm leaving some folders in here, and it's kind of, I did a series, and I like doing series like interviews and realtor trivia and things like that. Anyone that's looked at my social media, we like doing a lot of theme things, but one of the things I did was, I've been a season ticket holder of Cleveland Cavaliers for, about 15 years, and
I'm sorry for that.
I know, well,
Hey, we
it
were
could
hoping
be worse.
It could have been worse. No, you've seen some good times through those 15 years.
And we've seen some very bad times.
Yeah.
Like post LeBron, both times.
Yes.
But
We burned his jersey not once,
yeah.
but twice.
Well, this is one jersey I will not let you burn. You can't see it here, But as a season ticket holder, they gave me a Johnny Mortgage 50th anniversary jersey.
Oh, cool.
So in conjunction with that, we actually, in these folders, we actually created a 5-part series, 50 Reasons and Why You Should Do Business with Johnny Mortgage. And it's kind of grouped to, experience, communication, service. We think outside the box. That's one of the things I think I take biggest pride on is let's see what we have to work with. Now, how can we make the most with what we have to work with? And for instance, take Brian's clients, the ones that are looking at this auction. They saw, they wanted to use their veterans entitlement, but there's some issues getting the DD 214 since St. Louis burned down in 1970 and half the veterans' records went up in flames. But we found a way that they also want to get some work done, like a new roof, if they're successful with the auction, new flooring, new appliances. So one of the things that we're really good at, we have a special renovation division for both the FHAs, the 203Ks, the two types of them, the simple one and the more complicated one. And then we do that also with Fannie Mae, and that's called the home style. So in this case, these folks, if they're successful, because they're also first time, if they're successful, they can get that home with 5% down. We've already got them pre-approved, formally pre-approved. But also on top of that, they're going to be able to stack the renovation costs for the things they want to do to that home. And that work does not have to be done before they close, but there's a period of time, escrow period after the closing for them to get the work done. So
good.
I think in this market, anyone that's not in the limited inventory that's out there, Pete, I think renovation loans are going to become a bigger and bigger player. Because then it gives people a chance to customize their homes just the way they want it.
Yeah, and we talk about that a lot, especially here in Richland County. Now, we have a lot of homes that are just dated. So would a renovation home cover something that just needs updating?
Yeah, like, again, you're talking more or less flooring, painting.
New kitchen.
Yeah,
Yeah,
absolutely.
Sure.
And the nice thing on the conventional side is as long as it's not a structural issue, like you're moving a load-bearing wall, those renovation, total remodels of the baths, the kitchens, finishing the basement, all those things. The full FHA 203K, you could actually put in a pool if you wanted.
Yeah, fence for the backyard for the
yeah.
dogs.
Oh,
Okay, you
absolutely.
see that one a lot.
Absolutely. So anyway, so there's a lot of reasons when you ask the question why. These are just some of the reasons, but the biggest thing I think I take pride on is communication and service, and what I call a milestone system that everyone seems to love. And Brian will know this, again, from the veterans closing. As soon as they went to contract, we already had him formally pre-approved, which meant his credit and his income were already underwritten, which means really what were we left with? We were left with the appraisal, title, getting the homeowners, updating, small little details, and final verification. So that means that someone can go shopping for the right home with confidence.
Sure.
And in this market, I think a formal pre-approval, and we call it a true approval, it's almost as good as a cash offer. So in the package I gave you is a sample of two things. So let's say you bring me a client, I contact them, interview them, I text them a link, they fill it out, I call them up, we detail it, I run them through automated underwriting. I can immediately get, in the old days, everyone was just giving basically a letter or a pre-qual letter, but in this market, pre-qual, okay. In this market, people want something more, sellers want something more definite, more concrete. So one of the things I take pride on is we have something called a true approval, and this is basically a formally underwritten approval
So
for the credit.
the pre-qual does not include underwriting.
Correct.
Yes, so that's huge.
Well, automated underwriting, yes. And I've been doing
Yeah.
this long enough. I can look at a scenario. I tend to think like an underwriter when I'm collecting things from the consumer right up front. And I would generally say that I'm dead on that. I've yet to have a pre-qualification and went to contract that was denied. Because again, I'm going to detail it. I know the questions they're going to ask. So I feel real confident that even with a pre-qual letter, I'm not going to give that unless I know that they're good to go. But the true approval is almost as good as a cash offer, because it's letting that seller know this person's already been underwritten. They're already good. They already got the assets, they got the credit, they got the income. They're good to go.
I love that. Yeah, yep, I love that.
So the way the process would go is I'd immediately, and I have an assistant, and I'll get into our team that we call Johnny's Angels, kind of after Charlie, but I'll get into that in a little bit. We collect the documents right up front, even though we just issued this letter. And while they're looking for a home, we're going to submit the loan for formal underwriting. If we submit it by 4 o'clock today, generally we're getting a formal pre-approval by 8 in the morning tomorrow, and sometimes as early as midnight. Yeah, Sunwest, they have an interesting way. They've got, you may have 200 different underwriters on a file, but you have people working 24/6. Clearing conditions, pre-underwriting, pre-approving borrowers, all this. Something is going on in a file all the time. Now, I jumped away from the whole communication and milestone system. So let's say someone does go to contract. What we do is that same day, we're going to disclose to them as soon as I have it. So, Pete, if you give me a contract anytime today, within an hour, we're disclosing the initial application package. We're initially ordering title. As soon as they've executed the e-disclosures, we're going to order the appraisal, unless the agent and the borrower want to wait until the home inspections. Okay, which with VA loans can cause a timing issue. Simply because with the VA appraisal, the appraiser has 5 days to respond to schedule it. And then they've got 5 days once they inspect it, 5 business days to get the report back. So sometimes if you, like we have one in Columbus going right now, everything is cleared on the file. Well, the extension or the inspection period just terminated Saturday. So Saturday I jumped on and ordered the appraisal and advised the both agents on both sides that, you know, we're going to be pushing it right to the end, and let's hope something, you know, like Tidewater doesn't kick in. Have you ever dealt with Tidewater on a VA appraisal? Okay. What Tidewater is let's say you go to contract at $200,000 and the house appraises at anything less than $200,000. The appraiser, the VA has a process like an appeal process called Tidewater, which basically gives the parties the opportunity to either reduce the sale price, provide additional sales comparables, things like this. But it's almost like an appeal process, but it slows things down a little bit. So waiting until the inspection period's over sometimes can really put a crimp on timing on getting things closed ahead of contract. One of the things that we target is that we always try and we get it clear to close at least 7 days ahead of contract, if not more. And why? Because if we get out of the starting gate fast, then we got plenty of time to dot the I's, cross the T's, just, you know, connect the full loop here. It takes a lot of pressure off folks. So what we do is I'll call the listing agent and I'll introduce myself. I'll say, hi, this is Johnny Mortgage. You know, I'm the guy with the singing fish, but I won't tell them about
Where's the fish?
I did not bring the fish with me today. I was going to, but I thought that might be, you know, second appointment. The fish comes out on the second visit.
The second day.
The second day is the fish comes out, and the third one you get Mr. Bill.
When do we get to sit front row at the Cavs game?
Well, I'll tell you when they open up the front row. I'm going to tell you that. I am a season ticket holder, so we can arrange something. So if you guys want to come to a game, absolutely.
Yeah.
Maybe by then there'll be something.
Yeah.
But I'll introduce myself, explain the process of communication. I'll send an email to both agents, and Brian, you've seen that a few times, where I introduce my team, who's going to be assisting with the home loan, and then I go into I attach some information about Homebuyer Connect and myself, so at least they know I'm not an axe murderer. And then what we do is we also list them what I call milestones, things we've already accomplished on that deal that just went to contract, such as disclosed to the borrower. Just borrower signed it. We've ordered the title bundle. We've ordered the appraisal. We've submitted the loan. The big thing, I love it, the day, my goal, and I tell my team this, is within 24 hours of getting the contract, we want that loan submitted for formal underwriting, which happens pretty quick. Once submitted, within 24 to 48 hours, we'll get the formal underwritten approval. So the coolest thing in the world is if you've got someone already pre-approved, is the only document you're uploading to submit the loan is the contract and the lead paint disclosure, those things,
Sure.
agency agreement. So that's kind of cool when you got one document.
Really speeds the process. Speed and efficiency, right? Yes. I mean, that's what I'm getting out of this is, do all the legwork ahead of time, and then give them the icing on the cake and say, here, let's finish this deal up.
Yeah, and it's a communication. And then as we pass, once the appraisal's been ordered, or when it comes back, I'll do a milestone update. We got the title commitment back. We have clear to close. We've disclosed the closing disclosure, and a lot of times we'll disclose the CD before even having the appraisal back, so that 3-day waiting period is not holding up the transaction.
Yeah.
So so we're very good at what we do. I developed this speed system because some brokerages that I worked with in lending did not have the processing support as much as for the amount of volume I do, the number of units and folks I work with. I didn't have enough support staff, so I found myself doing 3/4 of what's called the traditional loan processing, ordering everything, submitting everything myself, collecting everything. And so to keep from being grayer than I already am, I had to develop how can I be most efficient in time, because time kills deals and there's only so much time in a day. So that's how I developed this kind of efficiency system. And the neat thing when I joined SunWest formally as a retail manager and originator was that even though they have their own systems of how they like market managers to do, they've allowed me and my team to do what we do best. They've allowed me to customize how we do business and how we do our workflows, because they see that it works. They recruited me because they known I was a good loan officer. I wasn't someone that's going to get someone in trouble. And I don't want to get anyone in trouble, because I got to tell you, as agents, your job is 3 times harder than, no matter how hard I work, my job would ever be. Because you've always got to be a hunter. And you've always got to be looking for the next series of transactions, no matter what side, the buy or the sell side you got to be. So I've always respected that, and I'm trying to think, how can I be most efficient to give you the confidence that this is a transaction you don't have to worry about. So that's why we set up this system. And and the neat thing we do is, and this is where I want to say I'm really blessed that they allowed me to build a team and personally train a team around me. And again, I think I may have introduced them as Johnny's Angels. Elysa, do you have a...
Oh, here you go. I think it's right here.
It's under that one. Oh, there we go. It is Johnny's Angels. We actually technically, in the folders, and I'll leave extra folders, we have a Meet the Medina team. That's yours truly. But then we've got, Danielle, Elysa, and Catherine. And each of them...
So you guys are based out of Medina.
Right. Now, Elysa is...
I live in Mount Gilead.
She's in Mount Gilead.
I'm local.
And Danielle and Catherine are actually in California in our home office. I like to call them Johnny's Angels. And I did not design this. My corporate marketing team, I don't know how they got this cleared through compliance, but they did. But they are true.
When's the movie coming out?
Well, exactly. That's the point. You know, I mean,
2025.
coming soon to a home near you.
There you go.
That's how we want to look. But they truly are angels. They make me look good because each of them serves in this whole efficiency model a very important role. I'm going to start with Danielle. Once we get a prospect, a lead that you want us to get qualified, Danielle and I are going to reach out to them to help build their credit and their income package and get them submitted for that formal true approval. She actually works on helping to collect things all the way to the point to when they go to contract and the loan is submitted for formal underwritten. And then Catherine O'Brien, also out of the home office, she's our delegated, again, I like to call her a relationship manager because she's going to work with the consumer and interface between them and underwriting to collect everything we need to get the buyer to the finish line, to the closing table. And she's awesome. But the thing they allowed me to develop, which no one else in the company has, and that's what I call a business development specialist, and that's where Elysa Paolo, comes in. She's helped design flyers, social media posts on all the major media, does amazing work. So Pete, you had this listing on this beautiful looking home. It's in the folder.
Yeah.
So we created a flyer. We can actually do memes, even if we're not involved.
Grimes Road.
Yeah. Did this sell?
Just went in contract.
No.
As soon as that flyer was made.
All right, it's under contract. So, you know what Elysa is going
I'm
to
just
do?
kidding, not quite.
Okay, but we can create both for social media a
That's
number
the idea,
of different.
though. That's the idea.
There's like 200 different formats that
At least.
this flyer can be done. It can be done with a picture, with a link where you click on it, it would take you to the full flyer. We can broadcast it to 40 different platforms, whether it be Google, etc. The layouts.
You guys on TikTok yet?
I haven't ventured to TikTok, but I feel like John would really like TikTok.
I've avoided TikTok because
Maybe we can start these with like Facebook stories.
Yeah, I think it's probably the next one to be on.
I think
well,
you're
you know
right.
what? I'm going to say is, I'd be up there teaching you the Polish disco.
That's all right.
More
We're
time
working
for-
into a marketing
If
technique
you held this
somehow.
back, yeah, but that's next time I see you, you're gonna have to ask me to demonstrate the Polish disco, and it's something it'd be the last thing you'd ever expect. So these flyers are really cool because we can actually post the whole flyer like this, or we can a link with the primary picture that they click on that, it would take them to the whole layout. If it goes under contract, one things that we're really happy, even if we're not involved on the lending side, knowing how tough your job as agents are, we want to celebrate your successes, where we would post memes and share them and tag them all the way around under contract and congratulating you and your buyer, whether we're helping or your seller, whether we're involved or not.
That's cool.
Even though we have cool Johnny Mortgage Yard signs, which would look great in front of any listing you might have. Yes, we got those too. But we want to celebrate your successes because the more name recognition you get, obviously the more people recognize, besides the name is catchy already. And the branding and the logos. By the way, did you design those yourself?
Yep. Kind of sketched them out on a sketch pad and went from there.
It is pretty snazzy. I mean, it pops. That's the one thing I've always noticed is that it pops. But the more recognition you get, the more name ID, the more that's going to help bring people into you as well. So Elysa is heavily involved with so many different things. Elysa, why don't you kind of give a rundown? I didn't mean to steal your thunder, but please.
Oh, that's fine, steal it.
No, please do.
I don't know, should I come over there?
Sure, yeah.
Or...
Come on up. We can fit
And
you.
now presenting
All
the
right.
amazing
Elysa.
a member of the Johnny's Angels, the famous Elysa Paolo.
Yes. Welcome.
Hi, my name's Elysa. I am either a business development specialist or business development partner, and I work really closely with John. I'm kind of on the back end, so I'm here to support John, you guys, and all of the borrowers. So anything having to do with social media, like he was mentioning, these really cool flyers. We can do co-branded things geared toward our true approval process. Those types of things. I also check in with your clients every week. So I get to know, Mrs. May and Mr. John and all of these people on a name basis. But keep in mind, I am on the back end. So when it comes to like loans and things, I do kind of stop at a certain point. But I'm here to support you guys, celebrate your milestones, celebrate your victories, and to create marketing and to get your name and to celebrate you out there in Johnny Mortgage World. Yes. And again, like John mentioned, always contacting, if we have the pleasure of working with you guys in the future, letting us know when you have new listings. When you have something going on, any changing towards anything that you've got going on, because we like to celebrate it. Whether it's a cute meme, whether it's a website, whether it's a flyer, whether it's anything at all, we just want to support you guys, and that's what I'm here for.
And I want to add a couple things to that as well.
Yeah,
sure. The neat thing, we have right now 50 true approved buyers looking for homes right now. We know that inventory is so far down. So one of the key things, not only the people under contract, but the people that we've been formally approved, Elysa's reaching out to them weekly to keep them engaged in the process, to answer or forward to me or to the agent any specific questions that pre-approved buyer may have.
Yeah, that takes work off of our plate.
Yes.
Yeah, we appreciate that because that frees us up to go out and get more clients and put more deals together. We're not
Exactly.
and we should be following up as well. But hell, if two of us are following up, better yet.
Yeah, constant contact. I mean, like I said, weekly. I mean, I even called everybody and wished them like a happy Holy Week. Sometimes people answer and they love talking to me, and some people, send me to voicemail. But just having that constant communication between the borrowers, you guys, and John.
Yep.
I mean, it can't hurt, right? It really can't hurt.
That's right.
The other thing that Elysa did not mention that we do have corporate approval is we have the ability to co-sponsor events with you. So let's say you're going to sponsor a booth at St. Mark's Church Festival, a table or something, or you're going to have a first-time homebuyer seminar. You're going to have something, an event going on. As long as we've got at least 30 days advance notice, our corporate marketing department who designed that Angels piece, for instance, or some of the other pieces like the tips for home buyers and things that are in the envelope, they'll help develop the plan, but they have approved us to split the cost with those events 50-50 with you. So we have the support, big support coming out of corporate because they see that we're successful in what we're doing, not only bringing more name identification to Homebuyer Connect, which is a newer concept. It's only been around about a year or so. But to SunWest Mortgage, who has been mostly in the broker world for 40 years, it's good for the company, it's good for the important relationships, and in building relationships out there. We're getting to the point that we're going to be the whole goal is for us to bring on several market managers throughout Ohio and across the country, just like what I'm doing, with the goal that I would train them to the same, if you want to call them best practices, workflows, communication systems, so that they're like mini me's, so to speak. Hopefully thinner me's than mini, which would work just fine.
Sure.
But the cool thing is, I always
You stay in there, Elysa.
I always
I'll just
encourage
back it up a
people
little
to
bit.
do the same thing is if
we go.
you have questions, if you have scenarios, and Brian's really good on this, what about this, what about that?
Yeah, because we rely on you guys for that because we're not experts in the mortgage industry,
right?
With renovation loans or whatever it may be. So we get the ball rolling and then hand them off, and say, hey, can you help us out with this situation? Or there's no one right answer, right? They call and say, what is the right answer for me? What types of package do you offer, right? And you guys help us with that. So let me jump to this real quick. What is our best method of getting started with you? Do we call you? Do we get a hold of your cell phone? Is there an app that we use? How do we get a client in touch with you?
I'll tell you what I have found is the most successful three-way communication tool is a three-way text between the agent, that client, and where they're introducing me. Introducing John, and then I will immediately respond to them.
440-221-6247.
Yep, and text and data charges do not apply.
I'll post that on the video as well. Your contact info.
I could not resist saying that.
Yep.
But I have found a lot of times agents will email, but then again it's a little structured or a little stilted because then I still want to go around and do three-way emails and communications between the agent. Because I always ask that lead, do I have permission to share your information with your agent? So Brian will tell you all these times, anytime there was a communication with his client, he was being carbon copied on that. So maybe it was almost to the point of, do I really need to be carboned on that? I don't want to say to them, I don't want to, realtors hate looking at emails generally. They're more texting and even less probably phone calls. So that's why I like the three-way texting. But it keeps you in the loop. And by doing these milestone updates, where I'm keeping both agents in the loop as we pass each milestone. Everyone knows what's going on and where things stand. I remember my first day in lending. I walked into the office. Here I am. I'm a lawyer by training, but I was looking for a part-time job as a telemarketer, and this mortgage company talked me into being a loan officer. I knew what a mortgage was, but I couldn't spell it. And I hear this guy just getting his butt reamed out. And by the buyer, by the seller, by the listing agent, by the selling agent. And I swore that would never happen to me. And to this day, knock on Naugahyde. Knock on Naugahyde, it has never happened yet, okay? Because I know how important the communication end is. People can deal with whatever the issue that comes up, because issues come up on files all the time. Sometimes no one can get around it when the county calls for a new pin and stake survey. I just had that happen in December, and that took 2 months.
Yeah.
But if people know what's going on, they can deal with it.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
It's when no one knows what's going on that you're going bananas. So my goal is to keep everyone in the loop. And I think the three-way text is a great way because immediately, even if I'm on the phone with an underwriter or with another client, I'll immediately send a text. Hey Brian, when's a great time? When are you free for me to call you? Mm-hmm. And hopefully with the idea of getting a communication, so that I reached out to your client, which is that's money. Whether you're paying for a lead through OpCity or whatever lead generation systems you use, it's still money, and they're like gold because they're so tough to come by. So we try and treat them like the gold that they deserve to be treated by. So that three-way communication is, and if it's a first-time home buyer, this is going to sound kind of cheesy, but I tell the folks that when they have no idea what to expect, that there's two basic stories I tell. The first one I said is, your whole goal is to have that first dinner on your brand new dinner table in your brand new home. So what do you have to do before you can have dinner? Well,
Grocery shop.
you got to go grocery shopping, right? Or else you're not eating, right?
Yeah.
Your agent is the one that's going to take you shopping for just the right home. Okay, so let's say you've cooked dinner, you've gone grocery shopping. Now what? You're going to eat with your fingers?
Nope.
No, what are you going to do? You're going to set the table. Mm-hmm. And that's where your lender comes in. They help you set your financial table. So by your lender and your realtor working together as a team, the whole goal is at closing, right after, you're going to have that first dinner. It helps people visualize the relationship between the lender and their agent, their real estate professional that's representing them so well. And the other analogy I like to explain to people is, I call it a triangle. Picture the credit triangle. At the top of the triangle is what you're going to pay for a home, what you have for down payment, what you have to work with. The two legs, one is credit, and then one is your income. So when I talk to a client for the first time, I'll softly explore the triangle, get a feel of how much their budget is, and ballpark what things are looking like on their end. And then I'll immediately text them a link. It's like an apply now link. They go in and fill it out, and then I'll immediately call them up and we'll review the details, because no one ever fills it out 100% perfect. That's okay. I'll go detail it, and then I'll tell them immediately, I'm going to go ahead and run you through the automated underwriting so we can get the pre-qualification, and then I'm going to be sending you and Danielle, another one of the angels, the consumer coordinator up front that's going to help you build your package. I'm immediately going to send you a needs list, and I'm going to attach some information about Homebuyer Connect and us, so you know we're not axe murderers. That, you know, we want people to feel comfortable. I love for people, especially first-time home buyers, to look at things as it should not be an ordeal, and it's traumatic for every buyer, especially for first-time home buyers. So what we try and do is, let's have some fun, video it, write a journal, take some notes. You only buy your first home once. Mm-hmm. Down the road, you'll look at this journal and you'll laugh at, like, we were really panicking about a termite inspection. You know, I mean, really? You know?
Yep.
But anyway, but to create some memories and have some fun along the way. And I think, you know, what sets, I think my team, and I've got good underwriters, again, great support team. From my end personally, I learned my very first day of lending. If you're out to make a buck, people can tell. Yep. If you're out to help people, people can tell. And you'll always make a far better buck taking care of people. I was told that by a frumpy old ex-gemologist who was bearded and his phone was ringing off the hook. And I asked him, what was the success? And he says, it's as simple as that. Yep. And so I try and keep that in mind with everyone I'm talking with, is let's have some fun with it. Let's take the trauma out of it. Let's enjoy the journey to get you. We're going to have to work at it, whether you're ready to buy today, tomorrow, next month, 6 months from now, or 2 years from now. Yep. Some folks, we do nurturing campaigns with. We actually work with them to develop what they need to work on to be ready to buy, so that it's almost like what you see the credit repair companies will do sometimes. You know, you turn in one of your people who have some issues, and then they'll give back to you, this person's good to go now. In a sense, we kind of do that as well. So we communicate very well through the process, so the people can see that if they're not ready today, that they're getting momentum and getting close to that day. And most lenders, with as busy as things have been, you know, it's either you're in the bullseye or you're not. And if you're not, too bad, so sad. You know, people are not, it's not a scorched earth policy. People are people. People are human. People want to be known that their concerns are valid. Hang loose. Hang loose with Johnny Mortgage here.
That's great, Johnny.
Yo, surf's up, so it's cowabunga. Yeah. We're not a 9-to-5 world. You know, I mean, I don't know how many times before 9 you or your clients, Brian, have called me, or how late in the evening, or on the weekends. You know, generally most people say, we'll get back to you within 24 hours by email or a text. I try and make it within 24 minutes. Obviously, if I'm in church, that's one thing, you know, or I've got a family time. But I try and respond as quick as possible, because if you're reaching out to me with a question or situation, it must be important enough for you to, that needs to be addressed as quickly as it can be. Mm-hmm. So at this point, I guess I should open it up to any questions people have about, like.
Yeah, we got Beanie on there right now. Diana was on there. We had a couple others watching live, and a lot of folks will watch after the fact as well. But we are live, so that's good. So any questions for anybody that's watching? give us a shout out here, and you have a one and only chance. Not one and only. We got your phone number now.
You got this is like
this is your live chance to
I
ask
feel-
Johnny Mortgage.
I feel like I'm on a world premiere, and now premiering on the red carpet of
Yeah.
Dream Home is the one and only Billy the Bass.
But I think no, what you covered was very good, John, and I think we'll spread your info to the team. The three-way texting is key. If you know if you have someone that you need some help getting financing on, and you really like the fact that they have the not just the pre-qualification letter, but the what is it again called?
True approval.
The true approval, which does the underwriting ahead of time, so you can be more. They said it's almost as good as a cash offer.
Correct.
So you can move more swiftly, more quickly, more efficiently in that tight seller's market with multiple offers. If you have that true offer letter there, that you that can really help, I think. So
Couple things and I'm sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you,
No,
but
you're
I
fine.
wanted to make sure that I mentioned this for the team, because anybody can do your typical clean, 620, 640 on up, no matter if it's Fannie, Freddie, or a government loan. But a couple of things I think SunWest takes great pride in is FHA and VA will go down to a 500 score. Their manual underwrites.
that's huge, guys. Okay, anyone with a low credit score, 500 range.
We can do that. Now, they've got to have reserves, and there is a process, but a lot of people just have legacy debt. And what I'm seeing here in Ohio is there's a lot of people who don't know how to build credit either, because they were taught if it's cash and carry world. USDA will do a manual underwrite down to a 580. Most people think rural housing USDA, which I think is awesome. Unless you're 620 or 640, you're out of luck. Now, we'll do a manual underwrite on a Fannie Mae refer, as long as they've got a 620 score, and if they've got reserves, because there's a lot of people with, that because of the amount of debt they have, they may not be able to get the automated approve eligible. But we can do manual underwrites on them, and there are countless other scenarios and things that we can talk about over time. I could tie up and burn out your battery on your phone here, and I don't want to do that.
Yeah, well, I'm sitting here smelling this Panera here for 20
oh my
minutes.
God,
I'm getting hungry.
Tell them to come in and snag some.
Those, yeah, that's right. Those of you who weren't able to make it here,
Yeah.
we are indulging in wonderful Panera, a great big salad, cookies, and a lot of laughs.
Look at that. Yep. So if you're running by the office later today, stop on by. Because Adam already had 3 chili dogs. And there might be some left for you.
Just getting started.
Jay, always just get started. You better hurry up. Okay. Well, Johnny Mortgage, thank you so much, sir.
Thank you so much.
Yes.
Just remember,
Elysa Paolo, thank you as well.
and we're just more than a pretty face here.
Yes. Homebuyer Connect by SunWest Mortgage. Johnny Mortgage, Johnny Majorek. Thank you for coming on, sir.
Thank you
Appreciate
very much.
You. Yep.
Love it.
Again, I'll post your info on the video there as well. So thank you everybody for watching. Have a great day. Work hard, never give up, and dream huge.